And welcome to tonight's Boys from the Baltic. It's Saturday. I was so excited about Saturday, I didn't even say Boys from the Baltic Star. Good evening. Welcome. It is Saturday. Our travel adventure is normally on a Friday, but tonight it's Saturday because I was out last night, and so my fellow boys, hello boys. I went a bit
Hello.
like I went a bit cover girl from the 70s. Hello boys. They played some Fighting Fantasy last night. The book. I'm not going to tell you how it went, but if you're interested in the Fighting Fantasy books and fantasy and fighting and books, then check it out on the demand videos. Not now. No. You're here to watch us, not them. All of us. When we're done, or tomorrow, watch them then. It was very exciting. I joined in halfway through when they were already doomed. But did they pull it out of the fire? I'll leave it to you to decide. But for now, hello. Welcome to tonight's episode of Boys from the Baltic Star. It is Series 2, Episode 2. We decided to make it a Series 2 to make the numbers smaller, to not freak you guys out too much. I hope it's working. If you've no idea what's going on, then please enjoy tonight. And then I recommend, and I think Ewan recommends, and Ben probably recommends as well, Thursday night, Ben put out a rather splendid, quite frankly, 20-25 minute sort of video on what happened before now. It missed a lot of the good stuff, quite frankly, but it would have to. But at least it gives you an idea of what's going on. All right.
To be fair, if they have no idea what's going on, I'd rather recommend that they apply to be part of the crew and join us on stream because me and you, Luke.
Oh man, we're sort of weather beaten and bitter about everything that's going on. We need more humble, open-hearted people, quite frankly. If you like that, but you want more depth, we've got 2 videos which are each 2.5 hours, I think. If you go through the on-demand, which covers part 1 of Series 1 and part 2 of Series 1. So 5 hours will give you a lot more depth and chat. But otherwise, welcome. We reset a lot of things, I guess. It's magic. We're in a new planet. There's new magic things happening, which Ben will talk about in a second. Not magic because it's sci-fi.
There is no magic.
There's no magic inside. There's no magic. Don't let D&D.
There's no magic in sci-fi.
There's no magic in sci-fi. It's science and fiction, not magic. We're here for it's hard sci-fi. We spend 4 hours calculating thrust per weight ratios. That's all we do.
And brunch.
The thrust per brunch ratios.
How much brunch can we take?
Per kilogram squared?
Yeah.
How much orange goes into a mimosa? That's the most important thing. Ratios. But anyway, thank you for joining us. If you've never followed us before and you've not logged off yet, consider following us on Twitter at Boys Baltic, Instagram Boys from Baltic Star, something like that. You'll find us. If you like what we're doing here, then consider this time for brunch. Spez has already decided. Hang on.
Ah, good shout.
We've gone early on the brunch. Where's brunch gone? There it is. It's time for brunch. It's always time for brunch. It's like anywhere in the world, it's always brunch time, right? Somewhere.
Yeah, I'm drinking a good brunch wine at the moment, actually.
It's brunch o'clock somewhere.
What do you prefer, Ben? A brunch wine or a breakfast whiskey?
Well, clearly the breakfast whiskey first, because it's a breakfast.
That makes sense. You're so logical. That's why you're the games master, the referee. You're so logical. But anyway, hang on. Let's get rid of this. Let's go. Good brunching though, Spez. Good brunching. Yes. So what we do is we play a Traveller adventure. Traveller is a role-playing game which isn't D&D, which I know is shocking, but they do exist. And believe it or not, the original Traveller was out when, Ben? 70s, early 80s?
Yeah, 77, something like that.
It's one of what I like to call the original Big Six. I think I made it up. I don't think it's actually a thing, but it's one of the original role-play games. And what's happened over the years is, I don't know if there's 6, but Ewan knows I just make things up. We're the only Traveller game on Twitch. I just make things up just for fun. It was one of the main first roleplay games, and then it got buried because I don't know why. Because Star Wars came out, it should have been bigger, and it was big for a bit, and then it died off because people hated sci-fi for a bit, and then it got remade a few times, and then a company called Mongoose remade it, and we play a Mongoose remake of Trevor, which is quite frankly wonderful. And we understand that people like fantasy, but there's a lot of fantasy online. There's a lot of D&D, and we thought we would offer you a taste of something different, a bit of sci-fi. We also thought we'd offer you something different by hiding three ugly faces in a very small corner rather than taking up half the screen with us, which I hope you're thankful for. Instead,
when he says a taste of a science fiction role-playing game, this is episode 43. You understand?
And it has literally been just science fiction in the campaign.
That's all it's been. But you see, Ben's not arguing about three ugly faces being shrunk down. We're in the bottom corner.
I'm not silly.
No, exactly. We offer it up to everything else. We like to have the graphics up there, and that's one of our things. We like to break the fourth wall. So if you're interested in chatting or joining in like Sparrow is right now, of course you are welcome to look. I'm in the bottom right. Hello. We love, just in case you need to love up, we love our lurkers. We love our people that, even Ewan's doing it. There's so much love going on right now. It's only Ben, but Ben's the referee. He loves no one. It's just hating.
He's neutral.
In his corner.
There's no love in me.
No love in him. Just neutrality. We love the lurkers and we love the people that drop in for 5. We also love the chatters. If you want to chat, feel free. Our things that we offer are purposefully almost game breaking in some regards, and weird stuff and stuff that you just want. Life is too short. We get into serious things. We get into serious story. We take it seriously, but life is too short for straight faces. So we will take little hints off the side. We'll pause things for stuff. If you don't like that, I'm sorry, but I think we're still pretty good. But we just want you to be part of our crew. And we talked about this. We want you're part of the crew. We're the idiots on screen, but we will chat with you when we're not busy. Oh, Ewan is a sexy boy.
And we do.
We do stamp it. It's the only person. I always say our account on Twitter is not a stan or thirst or I can't remember the other thing is. The only person I stand for is Ewan. So don't thirst trap us. Don't stan anything. Just Ewan. That's all especially when the pictures of him half eyes closed, stifling a laugh. I think it's that picture.
It's a very awkward picture, and I'm there for it.
It makes us love him more. But yeah, so that's what we're all about. You've got the vibe already about what we are. But we're telling him what we love Traveller, and we love role playing, and we love each other, and we play everything in, and we love the viewers, and I think we play everything in that heart. So don't stay, but we appreciate you, and we are doing some lovely things. And I'll pass over to Ben in a minute, who will lead us on some lovely things, very lovely. But before we do, I suppose I'll introduce us. Hello, I'm Luke. I'm in the blue corner. It's like boxing. I'm in the blue corner. I've got this hoodie's getting. I'm by the Peter again, so the guns are going to come out very quickly, I think. I play Cara and Soraya, that are 2 ladies. I try and play them well because I'm not a lady, but I think they do okay. Next to me is Ewan, my comrade and my friend, my buddy pal. He plays Agnar and Stefan, and Agnar is a wolf man. You can see him in the top left-hand corner. Ewan is not a wolf man, despite his beard. The guns are coming out.
We definitely don't thirst here.
You don't thirst me. You don't thirst the guns. How dare you? How dare you? I think we need to get rid of that Ewan thing for that. Hang on. That's gone. Yeah, Ewan plays Agnar and Stefan. Now, Stefan is a human man, or a Terran man, or whatever it is. Agnar is a wolf man. He resplends. He's floofy. And we love him very much. How are you doing, Ewan?
I'm good, thanks, Luke. I'm very good. What more can I say? I got told that I could almost pass for 25 today. 25 to 30 by a very drunk person, but you know that equates to 25 when you're my age.
I nearly passed out when she said that. Quite frankly,
I know.
I had a moment. I had palpitations, but luckily most importantly, Ben is not between us, so we can fist bump without him having to duck today.
Oh, we can indeed. Although I have to remember which side it is.
There we are. Oh.
Well done.
So, dear viewers, we work together as 4 of the most beautiful PCs you'll ever have met against the dastardly referee, the man who lives 24 hours a day in the Twin Peaks dream sequence, the smartest man in any room he enters, the man whose chin is getting slightly fuzzy. It is our referee, it is our GM, it's Ben. How are you doing, Ben?
I'm all right, thank you. Yeah, not too bad.
Anything exciting happen in your life this last week?
Well, other than this,
Well, quite right.
yeah, I mean, not an enormous amount of excitement. I've reached that point in my life where I'm hoping to pass for 70, and and so quiet weeks are actually a good thing. I think it's the active busy weeks where things tend to go horribly wrong.
That makes sense. So a good week generally then.
Yeah, not too bad.
You ready for some leading idiots to do your will?
Yes, of course. Yeah, in my experience, you bend more to my won't than my will, but yeah.
I see you didn't take down the word idiots though, so
We're on the right track.
If you start making stuff up on the internet, you eventually get caught, don't you?
that's what they say. Before Ben starts, I just like me and you are both powering up our dice through this sticker, which is the Dice Rehab Zone, which is available on our Etsy, or I'll flog it to you for cheaper because then Etsy don't take their cut. Just stick it. I'm not sticking it anywhere because I don't want to wreck anything. Quite frankly, it's a movable sticker. I put it down. I put my dice on there, and they always roll better the next time. It's like some deep juju. Not that there's magic in sci-fi. What's sci-fi's version of magic? Science.
I guess so.
A lot of science in that sticker. So feel free.
The most scientific sticker you'll ever buy.
It is. It's quite fictional as well. There we go. What more scientific sticker could you ever want? It's there. The dice are warming up. I've got Ewan bought me a little mug warmer that plugs into my computer. I'm pretty certain it's radioactive, but it's warming my tea as we speak. If I turn green during the show, you know why. Anyway, enough of that nonsense. Ben, save us.
I will indeed. Thankfully, we have a very short intro this time because we're making a clean break from season 1 at this point. So, our travellers have arrived on Dilub Rou, the capital system of the subsector. They found rooms in the Cadence, a hotel in the domed city of Azure Port, and they went to visit a second-hand ship salesman to get a deal on an old G carrier for their friend, the resplendent Telon Rack.
He resplendent.
They struck the deal at a very good price, as long as they can convince Pan System Power to bend a little on their corporate policies and support a local small businessman. This vehicle is needed to get Rack, his friend Amelia Jax, and some volunteer travellers to the little fixer-upper he's purchased, Morse's Pit. It seems Morse's Pit might have a squatter or 7, and they might be slightly armed, so Rack is likely to need the help. And that is where we resume the story. So we literally left off with Rack looking for a place to park. And as he does so, he's constantly sort of monitoring what the vehicle's doing and adjusting a lever here and a lever there, and getting used to it, but also tweaking it a little bit. And when he brings it down on the edge of the sort of landing pad area that separates the domed center of Azuleport from the ring outside it, he immediately starts, as soon as he gets up out of his seat, he starts wandering back and forth, pulling open hatches again and sticking his head inside to see what's going on. He doesn't seem too disappointed, but he says, right, I'm going to need to do a little bit of work on this. I'll let you know when we're good to go. Okay.
Yeah, that suits us. I think I'm sure we've got some bits and pieces we can pick up. We can certainly look into fulfilling the deal we've made. Wouldn't you? Sorry, go on.
Does this mean it's a shopping trip? Sorry, I was very excited.
Well,
you could certainly do a shopping trip if you'd like. Yes.
At least fill up on some ammo and some explosives.
Sure.
There must be some shops around the Azure port, Ben. It's a hub for travel.
Azure Port itself is a sort of transit point. So though there are shops, they mostly sell
Toblerones.
Yeah, cheap magazines.
Plugs, converted plugs.
Yeah, adapters, one kind of another.
Those
travel blankets.
Those pillows you put behind your neck. Oh no, they're useful though.
So that's the kind of thing. It's not what you'd call high-end engineering. There are absolutely some shops and quite a lot of reasonably high-end sort of boutique kind of places selling designer kit and things like that. If you just want more conventional supplies, you might be better off trotting to the other side over onto the ring to find some slightly more down at heel places.
We're all at the shipyard, is that right? Do we all go to the shipyard?
Yeah, essentially you're parked in a bay off the landing pad area of the downport. Yeah.
Can Stefan ask the guy who sold us or made the deal with us for the transport? Just say, whilst I'm here, I've got a package. I've got some things that need sending. Is there a courier service at support? There must be someone around who ships items to Worlds. Would anyone you recommend?
Well, the Travelers Aid Society has an office in Azure Port itself, in the domes. They're usually extremely reliable.
I have heard of them. There goes that fourth wall again.
Yeah, so Travelers Aid Society can certainly help you out.
Oh well, thank you very much. I'll make sure to stop in at some point.
Excellent. I mean, there are other people who ship things, but it depends on the size of your package, if you see what I mean. If you need to ship if you need to ship something the size of a spaceship, then you might want to go to a private contractor because TAS is expensive.
Oh yeah, no, certainly we're talking, not very big, handheld.
Handheld, excellent. Yes, a good thing.
Ewan went there though.
No. Not what I was talking about.
I'm gonna get my shopping magazine while you talk, Ewan. We're gonna go shopping though for something, right?
Yeah.
Let me get the magazine. Time to kill, yeah.
We're either gonna go shopping or we're gonna go looking into that the company and the deal that we need to try and come through on.
Good call. Actually, Cara could start a little search on that while we do our shopping.
Okay.
Hang on a sec.
Yoink. All right. So
it's okay, I'm back.
Yes, Cara is going to run a computer check. Is that right?
Yes. So Cara will check out. I'm not going to try and hack in or anything, but what I want to check is the pan system power.
Mm-hmm.
I want to. I clearly know that a space age Google will give me everything I would need without any effort at all. Right? They're clearly a big enough company on Dilub Rou that it would not be a problem to get annual earnings. This is the CEO. This is this. This is that. So what I'd like
Yep.
to do is I'd like to dig a bit deeper and try and find, if I can, with the hacking skills, more proof about who they deal with and monetary dealings either way, if that makes sense.
Yes.
A little bit of dirt, and not like nasty dirt, but just a little bit of something to cling on to.
Okay. All right.
Their clients, some client names, a bit of leverage.
Okay. So you're looking for something, something suspicious, anything that's popped up on other people's sort of comments about the company, people who've worked there and have a bad word to say, that kind of thing.
Yeah, let's go a bit beyond what. Let's not take what anyone could look at. Let's take something that someone with the ability to hack a bit could find. Yeah.
Okay.
Weird flex, but okay.
Well,
Yeah.
No,
Okay. We're going to roll a quick electronics computing check, please.
Okay. Do I get any intellect or education?
Yes, you can have intellect with that.
Thank
You can't get the bonus from the system though, because you're not doing any kind of intrusion or anything.
I'm not feeling very intrusive tonight.
Mm.
Okay, 6 plus 3 is 9.
Okay, for 9. Can you roll 1d6 for me?
Oh, I never know if it's good or bad.
Every time.
Every time. It's a 2. I don't know if that's good or bad. 2.
A 2. Okay. It'll take about 20 minutes or so to get the information together and make it cross-referenced and everything. Got to write a little script that can search all sorts of public information sources and cross-reference them for any mention of pan system power.
Seems reasonable. Okie dokie. So, seems fine. So she'll. Is that something that she needs to focus on? I guess Kara's going to be.
Yeah, she's going to be busy for a while doing that. Yeah.
Okay. She'll drop. She'll. If the rest are going shopping, she'll drop Sarah a little note, a scribbled note of a couple of things she needs, and then sort of sit down in. Because it's a lovely. Our hotel is a lovely surrounding, isn't it? Especially where
it is. It really is nice. Yeah.
So she'll go down to the bottom, which is that open space with the running area and what you said like that. She'll sit under I don't know whether the trees are real or not, on a bench. And
there are trees and there is greenery. There are some plastic, but quite nicely done decking areas, pools and little ponds, and a sort of stream that winds around. And yes, a bit of open running space and sports courts of one kind and another. The opportunity to for people who've been stuck on a ship for a while, to stretch their legs and sort of have a bit of elbow room.
She'll pull her boots and her socks off, and she'll dangle her feet in a pool and sit under a tree with the laptop and sort of type away and sort of do her thing. She's quite happy to spend a bit of time doing that, to be honest, in such a nice surrounding.
Okay.
Soraya will turn to Agnar and say, "Are we shopping there, Naggers? Do you need some bits?"
Cool? I mean, I'm pretty good, but I'll come for a walk around, get my bearings. You never know. The window shopping opportunity may take me. There may be a brunch to be had. You know me.
I know. Last time you went shopping, you bought 14,000 reams of paper with your name on it.
I did indeed. Very important purchase.
Very important purchase.
My fan mail.
A very egotistical purchase.
That as well. Lead the way.
So I guess we'll head round to the less salubrious rings, I guess, Ben.
Okay.
Stefan will join. Most definitely.
Okay, so if you head effectively across the open planet, you're wearing your vac suits, of course, and the walk isn't that long because it's just the width of the landing pad area. There are quite well marked places which basically say, walk here so a spaceship doesn't land on you, because there are craft coming and going fairly constantly as you walk around. Periodically, either close to you or on the other side of the domes, you see a ship lift off or touch down. It's a fairly busy downport, and you know full well that this is only a fraction of the traffic coming and going on Dilub Rou. Not only is this just one town, but also most of the larger craft will be docking at space stations in orbit. You're only seeing, their various shuttles and transports doing their little up and down hops. Some of these craft are constantly on ferry missions up and down, moving goods and passengers. The domes are nice. They're all painted a rather appealing blue, deliberately tinted that color. The sun over Dilub Rou, because the atmosphere is so thin, is quite intensely bright and uncomfortable to the eye. So the domes, though they're not completely opaque, have been shaded blue in order to make the environment inside the domes more comfortable on the eye, a bit less harshly lit. Once you're outside, of course, immediately your spacesuit's visors take over that job and shade your eyes a little bit, but they're not quite the same color. So there's quite an interesting sort of change from a slightly bluey tint in the city to out where you are a more yellowy, ruddy color everywhere you look. You head off out towards the ring itself. This sort of higgledy-piggledy mass of small domes and huts and components, some pressurized elements and some just piles of stuff with people wandering around in their spacesuits. And as you arrive, you discover that in addition to the fact that you've obviously got personal devices with maps and things telling you where things might be, even though this is a bit of an informal collection of properties, it's still well enough managed by the city that there are hollow signs everywhere pointing you to particular locations, identifying which block and which street you're on, and they are clearly paid for by adverts because they're constantly flickering back and forth, showing adverts of local businesses, places you can go to eat, places you can go to purchase things. And you make your way into this rather scattered outer area.
Cool. Sarah will sort of walk to the first. I'm guessing, as always, the shops are quite thematic. I guess there would be a different clothing shop, or like a shop for those that are wandering into the desert, or some weaponry shops, or this and that. Some bazaars with bits of this and that, and I guess there'll be things with old second-hand goods or whatever, bits and pieces, bits of old memorabilia or games or things like that you could look into. And
I mean, a lot of the property around here is essentially residential. People who need cheap accommodation have little domes where they can't afford to live in the big center of the city.
Yeah.
If you're a ferry pilot, a shuttle pilot, for example, you are quite likely to have a small room in a shared minor pressurized dome area out in this part of the city. The same perhaps if you worked in the Azure Port domes. You could save some money by living out here where it's cheaper. Not everyone who works in the city's centre is particularly highly paid. Some of them are stewards and waiters and the like.
Makes a lot of sense.
There are Tims, to
Oh,
put
a
it
lot.
simply.
Oh, so many. It must
Good
be a
news.
village of
Good
Tims.
news.
This is, for all practical intents and purposes, the city of Tims.
From a glimpse around these houses and little shop fronts and that, what would you say the standard tech level is? What are we looking at? I know there might be things higher and lower, but what's the standard?
This world, pretty much as a whole, operates at Tech 15,
Okay, yeah.
and
Tasty.
though if you wanted to purchase Tech 15 goods, you'd probably need to do so at one of the slightly smarter, slightly more marketplaces.
Yeah.
There's an enormous amount of second-hand, recycled, repurposed material, which is being sold at slightly lower tech levels. But if you were looking for something below about Tech 12, you're getting to the point where it would almost be an antique or a handcrafted item.
Okay. The thing I want is Tech 60. That's ridiculously high. Okay.
You want something that's Tech 16?
I can't believe it's Tech 16, quite frankly. I was looking at things. There's no way it's a Tech 16. That's stupid. I would like. Is there an electronics / spycraft area, Ben? I'd like to look at a couple of bug opportunities, if that's okay.
Okay.
Bug, home security, cam, audio stuff, if that's okay.
Yes. There is a place for not very far from you. There is a place called Comshack, which is a chain, but it's not a particularly plush one. Now, Comshack provides plug-in devices for homeowners, for starship captains who need communication systems, everything from personal communicators to computers to recording devices. It's a company, and they're not insanely high end, but they are but they're a reliable, inexpensive brand that people would know.
For any communications companies watching, this is the opportune moment to throw us an email with your sponsorship, and we'll rebrand.
The Comshack could be changed if you wish.
It's open.
Sarai wanders in. Good afternoon, good sir. How are you?
It's a sort of fairly skinny, quite young individual leaps up and leans forward with a bit of enthusiasm. Oh, great! Thank you. You?
We're having a wonderful. It's lovely to be back on Dilub Rou. It's our second visit here, and we're loving this area. How long have you lived here?
Well, I was born here, not here, not in this shop, but I was born here.
Oh, how's business?
I don't know what compared to what.
I don't like. I don't know what to compare it to, but I hope we can make it better for you today. I've got some requests of technology, and I hope that you might be able to fulfill some of it, so that I can provide you with some money, if that's okay.
Yes, we work on commission.
I'd like. I'm going to put a little list towards you, if that's okay, and you can let me know if these things are available.
Sounds good. He pulls out a little sort of electronic pad to sort of go along with you as you call out your things.
I would like. So it looks around. I would like a. I'm just going to write some things down. Now, don't take me as the wrong sort of person, but you need to understand that sometimes when you want to exist, you kind of need to know what other people might think about you and think what's going on. And for me, it's very important to get hold of a bug, if that's okay. And I've been looking through some possibilities, and a tech level 13 audio visual data bioscan bug would be fascinating. And it's page 62 on your on the intergalactic catalogue.
Stefan will chip in and say we do have some issues with our onboard security, and we'd like to test them out somewhat as well. So
Exactly, it's all for purely pure purposes, of course. Self-defense.
research.
Yeah,
you might say.
absolutely, exactly.
Well, yes. I mean, yes, obviously. Yes, of course, quite right. I mean, you can never be too careful.
No, exactly. You know, power comes from knowing what's going on, of course. You don't want to.
Does it?
I don't know.
I never know what's going on.
But you look friendly at least, and that's the most important thing. Another thing we would absolutely love, if that's okay with you, you know holograms.
I mean, sure.
Have you ever? Hang on a second. I need to give a timming. Hang on, we've got a timming going on.
It feels like a timming moment.
It's very awkward.
It does feel like
Sarai's talking and she's not even called him a Tim yet. Have you
You
ever
can tell
watched?
she wants something.
Yeah, I know. Have you ever watched back one of those old holodiscs of an old concert or something like that, and you've seen a performer you absolutely love of any era of any music?
There's a look
What?
on his face like, now you're dealing with watching things on screen. He is well on your page here. Oh yes, yes, I do that a lot. A lot of that.
Well, have you ever wished that you could watch them in? I've always wished I could watch them in 3 dimensions in front of me, like in a hologram. And what I'd absolutely love, if it's possible, it's a Tech Level 13 thing. It's a holographic projector. We spend a lot of time in space, like most people do, of course, and we travel around. And in my room, I've got a very small screen, and I love to sing my music loud of an evening, of course. And what better than to literally dance alongside my favourite singers? So, what I would absolutely love is a Tech Level 13 holographic projector.
Stefan's just going, like, don't encourage her, please. In the background somewhere.
She sort of leans over and whispers. She's like, especially this guy here. I've got a video of him dancing around his bathroom in just a towel singing, and I just want to recreate that every single night, just for a little bit of joy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, your initial pitch sounded fun, if I'm honest. That one less so, but sure.
Sure. And I think, to be honest, I'm not a fussy person. Those are the two things I want. I want bugs just to make sure that we're secure.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd absolutely love a holographic projector. It plugs into the laptop. It gives very good true life images that so we can have a beautiful image. If that's something you can find, there's other things I want, but I think they're a bit above your ability, she says, looking around at some of the bits. The only other thing, do you have any nice watches? A nice wristwatch?
Yes. We do a lot of those. What kind of features would you like? Communications built in? We have ones with a COM dot built into the wristwatch. If you have an established grid system, or we've got a thing which includes a computer option.
See
and
that
we
to me is interesting. I was looking, and there's this one here. She points at one. So this one did look like it's got like a. You've got one with like a computer, which would be a 0, or computer 1. One of those would be fascinating to me. Just a chance to like plink around on it without having to open the laptop, if you know what I mean. That would be
yes,
fantastic.
yes, absolutely. Well, I mean, those are, those are obviously nice, but if you're the kind of person who's in the market for a holo projector, I'd be tempted to lean you towards some of our higher end sort of watches, to be honest.
Okay, tell me more.
So he rummages around behind the counter for a moment and pulls out a very smart looking box, which he unfolds on the counter in front of you. So this wristwatch, it can work as a com dot for established communications networks. It's also got an inbuilt transceiver, a quite short range, but handy for all sorts of things. It integrates directly with a vac suit, so you can wear it under a vac suit, and it still communicates through the head up. And it can act as a computer 1 as well.
Oh, how much? I love that. That looks wonderful. That is everything I'd want. I'd love that alongside a holographic projector, if that's okay. That watch has got my name all over it. If you could do that, a holographic projector, and that bug, that TL13 bug, for me, I would, I would take your hand off.
Okay.
If we're talking prices here, sorry to butt in, Stefan will just say, I'd be interested in something as well. You know, if buying in bulk is cheaper for us.
Okay.
I don't have a catalogue, but I'm interested in the opposite of a bug, something that could potentially pick up bugs or stop bugs from working.
Oh, like a jammer or something.
Yes, yeah.
Hmm.
But you know, only if we can get a discount on all of our purchases.
I don't think we carry anything that can jam a signal like that. We can sell like electronic sniffer equipment that can sometimes pick up signals.
Like Kara's got the EM Pro, correct?
Yeah.
Like that sort of thing, yeah.
We can sell you something like that, but it won't block the transmission of the signal.
No, well, I mean that would still be of interest to me if the right deal was there to be had. Just, yeah. But please do go
on. There are a couple of options available actually, which might work. I mean, it depends how destructive you want to be.
Not
because,
at all.
You know, we do have access to, not off our own list, but we know people who have specific needs for things like electromagnetic pulse devices, which could shut down certain things if you really needed that.
No. I think frankly, more honestly, I'd be interested in detecting them. Certainly, nothing destructive.
So Sarai looks at her note and says, "Although you say EMP, we could do with one or two of those, as well as what Stefan is after. My dear friend and colleague."
I mean, it's not something we carry, but the guy I share a place with, he does deals on some military style weaponry and equipment, and he might be able to sort you out with some.
That is interesting. Is that something? How long do you think it would? How long do you think the turnaround would be for that kind of thing?
I don't know what he's got. He works out of our place, but I can tell you where to find him, and if he's got it, I'm sure he'll sell it to you.
Sir Rice turns to Stefan and says, "Was that the main thing? I know you were looking for the jammer. I'm looking for EMPs for car. Is that sort of something you're looking for as well, or like a scanner? Is that something it's worth us going for? Going to this guy for?"
I mean, potentially. I'm to be honest, I'm more worried about our friend Tim here living with a guy who's selling military grade like technology. You need to get out of that place. I mean, I'm talking as a person who's come from some shady backgrounds. It's not going to end well.
Tap on the counter twice if you need our help, Tim.
It might be useful, but yeah.
We can go to this guy if he gives us the address. If we can get the electrics here, and then we can head over there for the more military stuff. That might be quite nice. Tim, are you able to get the bug and the hologram and that watch? Are those all viable?
Can you roll 2d6 for me, please, for the bugs?
Oh God, I hope high is good. It's 10.
Oh yes, yeah, no problem at all. Yes, we have we have them in stock. So yes, what I can do is the watch is 2,500.
Oh, hang on, let me make some notes. Watch is 2,500. Yep.
The holo projector.
Yep.
Is 10,000.
Yeah, that is the going rate. To be fair, I can't. Like I was just saying in chat, if it's the price, it's the price. That's definitely. The catalog does say that's the price. Yep, he's not ripping us off. And the bug.
The bugs will be 400 for each one.
Yeah, that's also very reasonable as well. Okay, if I could please take a holographic projector for 10, a watch for 2.5, and 3 bugs for 12, if that's okay.
Yes, of course. And he starts assembling your purchases into a package.
Let me write a note. So this is going to take ages. Hang on. Those are going to Cara. Ewan, take over while I'm writing boring things down.
And you said you had something that may detect bugs.
Yes. There's sorry, must reach for different book. Always different book. My apologies. Yes. One second. Where is it? Yes. Let me quickly check if there's an available upgrade. Handy device detects the electromagnetic emissions of technological devices, can be used as a diagnostic tool or when searching for hidden bugs or devices. So that is what it is. It is yeah. He can you roll 2d6 for me, please?
So I can.
And you can add streetwise to that.
Ooh, that's very handy. That's a 7 plus 2 is a 9.
Okay. Yes, he reaches and pulls out a relatively compact box containing one of these EM probes, and he says that's 1,000 credits.
No, well, that's a bargain. I will take it. Thank you very much.
Lovely.
Good. You're ever so kind. You're a lovely Tim. You seem a bit nervous. Are you okay? Is that your usual demeanour, or we don't make you nervous, do we, Tim?
Is it your first week?
Yeah. No, not at all. My first week. No. I'm getting better.
Is it all an act because you actually ship millions of credits worth of hard ammunition every single week?
Are you in on the military grade?
Yeah.
Weapons deals.
Is it all an act, Tim?
I mean, I'm going to be honest. You've made a good sale here today, anyway. I think you're doing a good job.
But come on, you can tell us, Tim. You can tell us if you are.
Roll a deception check with
Oh.
Streetwise for me.
Oh, do we both get to do it?
Yes.
Deception with
Streetwise.
Ooh.
Oh, indeed.
Oh. Yeah. That's a 6 + 2 is an 8.
It's better than me. I've hit a 3 + 1 is 4.
Okay. You don't get anything, I'm afraid, Luke. But Stefan, you're not getting any sense of malice or anything like that from him. He doesn't seem to be an evildoer, but it's possible there's a bit of an affectation in the way he's presenting himself. Yeah.
Well, that's more than enough said, Tim. I think a deal has been had. We are very appreciative. Thank you. The contact you mentioned, your friend. Whereabouts could we find them?
He gives you a location, which is a fair distance away through the ring. It's not just further deeper into it, it's actually quite a way around. The person you're looking for is someone called Creesa Drac.
Oh, how are we spelling that?
CREESA.
CREESA, yep.
DRAAK.
DRAAK. An extra A for the sake of it. Yeah, Drac. Oh no, I've written that wrong. Okay. And they're the one to go for what are we after again from that? Like more
potentially more military kinds of things.
Military. Soraya will smile and say, does this person do explosives?
I don't know exactly what he does at any point, but maybe
he sells what he's got on hand. Is what I'm getting here. Is that the right kind of?
He doesn't necessarily have an extensive stock, but he finds things when he doesn't have them sometimes.
A finder. Splendid. Excellent. Sounds good. Thanks, man. And Soraya taps him on the shoulder, a bit of a thud on the side of the arm. Thanks, Tim. You've been really helpful. This watch is lovely. It's my colour as well. Thank you.
It really brings out your arm.
It does bring up my arm. It's never looked so glowing. Let's go see this guy. Stefan Agnar's with us as well. Stefan Agnar, do you want anything in particular while we're wandering there? It's a long way to go for just that. I'm sure we'll pass a few things.
Stefan will say, well, I'm keeping an eye out for the TAS, the Travellers Aid Society.
It's a very hoity-toity place, I've heard.
That's more than I've heard.
They don't let just anyone in. No, none of the riffraff. High standards.
Maybe Agnar could go in for me.
You got to prove a deep love for the Traveller's Aid.
But other than that, I'm open to suggestions.
Okay.
Let's wander towards Carissa Drac, and if the TSA or anything as we're wandering past is there, then we'll dive in. I guess, Ben. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
TAST Traveller's Aid.
TAS. Yeah, sorry. That was probably me.
So, as you pick your way through, you're getting into less and less organized area where at one point there were quite straight, broad gaps. It's becoming a bit more higgledy-piggledy because it's sort of built on a circumference. If you tried to just go straight back in a straight line from the initial sort of internal circumference, the gaps between the roads, if you like, the roads would get steadily wider as you moved out from the city. Instead, what seems to happen is where the road's getting a bit wider, people have kind of put in another bit of building, splitting a road into two or narrowing one. And because of that, the deeper you go into it, the more random these streets become. It's not hard to find your way around because still you've got the fairly broad radial paths leading out. It's just that you have to sort of move a little bit left, a little bit right, and look around a corner for an opportunity to find the next turning you need. Can you both roll a streetwise, please, for me?
I certainly can. When you said it was built on a circumference, I'm like, well, it's a planet. They're all built on some form. It took me a little bit longer than it should have done, to be honest.
Why? 8 plus 1 is 9 for Soraya.
Oh.
Okay.
That's useful.
Stefan got a 12 plus 2.
Whoa.
14, and I don't think I should even bother rolling for Agnar because it's never going to meet that.
just be a
but I will,
down.
just in case. So it's a 9 minus 3, so it's a 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
As you make your way through, Stefan, you pick out something just a little bit unexpected, I suppose. It's not necessarily threatening, but unexpected. Which is that your little group is attracting some attention. There are a few people paying a bit of attention to you as you move, more than you'd expect for a world you've never sort of wandered across before.
General, your everyday kind of person, nothing. Yeah. Okay. He'll probably nudge Soraya and just say, do you get the feeling that people are watching us? Not watching us. You know that feeling. Do you get that feeling?
Oh, she sort of looks around. She's like, do you think they might have seen that advert, the Earth Park advert of us being attacked by a megalodon?
It might be.
I know our heads were blurred out, but Agnar's body's pretty unmistakable.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're trying to publicise that as much as they would have been, if I'm honest. It might be your they might have seen the Geeker team match. Is that likely? Do they get broadcast? You know this. I don't know this.
If they had, they'd be throwing stuff at me by now because I must be public enemy number 1 after my glorious performance.
That's also true.
I don't know.
I just get a weird feeling.
I could shout up the geeks and see what happens. We could get mobbed though. We're in enemy territory right now.
It's likely to draw more attention. Definitely, especially after the result.
I don't know, man. You're the man with the skills. Why don't you just keep an eye out for anyone that's if people start following? Do you know what I mean? If people start following us, that's the thing. Like, I don't know why. There's no reason why they would. Like, last time we were on this planet, we didn't really mingle with anyone outside of the hunting group.
We were nowhere near here, were we?
No, this is totally. And we've not been bigging ourselves up since we've been here either.
Not yet.
Keep an eye out, man. Stay frosty. I've been watching those old terror films. They say stay frosty when you need to. Stay frosty.
All the time. All the time.
All the time. Yeah.
That's exactly what they say.
That's
Okay. I got it. Don't worry.
But yeah, the good.
Staying frosty. Yeah.
Well, cool, because that woman's giving me a funny eye, and I don't think it's a falsie. I think it's actually her eye. So yeah, good call, man. Good call.
Yeah. Stefan will keep an eye out as they travel for anyone tailing them. Anyone we've seen before. Anyone he's seen before, I suppose. You know, recurring faces and all that.
Okay. As you make your way closer and closer to the address you're heading to, and you know, pootling your way through these relatively narrow things, no one appears to be following you, as far as you can tell. But there is a degree of interest. It's sort of like if you imagine a Western.
Yes.
And you're the new guy in town, and so people are curious. They're sort of looking at you and sort of thinking, I wonder what he's up to or whatever, which would make sense in a Western where they get, you know, 2 new visitors every month. But this is a major spaceport, so it feels a bit odd.
Okay.
Are there any children around them?
Yes, but by nature of this sort of part of the city, there aren't a lot around. But yes, there are some.
You boy.
Yeah, that's legitimately what I want to do. Is there any chance Sarai could attempt to approach one, please?
Yeah, I don't see why not. What kind of approach are you trying to make? Are you trying to like snatch one off a street corner, or are you trying to walk up friendly, or
just run off with it under my arm? Hey! And off I go.
You are now called Tim.
You're now you can come and work for us, Tim.
Yes, I found us a steward.
We've needed one for months.
Yeah.
No, I know that Dilub Rou is high tech, therefore money cards is a general thing, but coinage is still a thing, right? In the Imperium, and certain places just take coinage. And I'd imagine if you had a few coins on you, people would not turn it down, especially in a dustier part. Or is it all card where we are?
Well, the way I always envisage it is this: for pretty much all cash transactions or anything like that, you would use an electronic transfer. However, there is a need for the opportunity to drop anonymous cash and the like.
Yep.
Accordingly, there have been manufactured little electronic tokens, not much bigger than a coin, a little square, circular, hexagonal, flat token that you can keep in your pocket, which you can load up with credits.
Yeah.
And when you do, it displays on its face the value that it currently holds. These are then freely transferable. The actual electronic wallet that you're holding is effectively very, very cheap. So the value of the transaction is almost all in the actual money displayed on its
so
it's
screen. Basically like a gift card that you top up yourself and pass them. So is
electronic book token?
Yeah, exactly. I'd like to think there's a chance that people would have a few on there. Would you accept that people might have a few on, like we might have a few floating around in our pockets and things?
I think there's every chance you would, yes, especially given that you've dealt with some fairly disreputable people who might want complete anonymity in their cash.
Right. I'm gonna put 100 credits on one, if that's okay, Ben. Soraya will sort of relatively open to it. Gift cards of the future, Sparrow. It's the uprising lives on gift cards, quite frankly. So I will put 100 on one, and she'll try to approach a child of close to. She's not going after like a 4-year-old, you know, that sort of 9 to 13 kind of age group. If there's one of them sort of floating around, if that's okay.
Yeah, roll 1d6 for me.
I will do, mate. It's a 1, so it's either great or terrible.
Yeah, there isn't any of that kind of age group immediately on your path, but you're keeping your eye open. and a little way along, you see a young girl wandering the streets, not aimlessly. She's clearly going to cross your path or just behind you as you walk down the street, but she's sort of lost a bit in a world of her own, just meandering along, not hurrying. And she would be maybe 10 or 11, maybe 12 years old, that kind of age.
Okay. As far I would like to approach her in a friendly manner. I guess you'll sort of tap Stefan and Agnar, sort of tap Stefan and Agnar on the shoulder. And just say, I'm just gonna speak to this girl, if that's okay. So don't like loom over her, especially you, Agnar. You're pretty tall, and your teeth are very shiny in this light. It must be the time of day.
It's a weird,
Resplendent teeth, no.
Resplendent teeth.
A weird light.
A weird light.
Yeah, sure. You go.
Let's just say she'll sort of hold out the token quite openly in her hand, which I'm guessing is quite imperialist for like, here is a token. I wish for something. She holds it out and say, "Hey, have you got a minute?"
Roll a persuade check for me with intellect, please.
Okay. Oh no, that's okay. 9. Oh, sorry, I'll hold it up. 9 plus 2 is 11.
11. Okay. She suddenly notices you. She hadn't really been paying any attention, or I mean, she knew you as an obstacle she might have to take a sidestep to walk around, but didn't realize you were going to interact with her. So she sort of stops and looks up a little bit startled. It's like, hey,
look, I've got you know what this is? This is a credit chip, right? It's got 100 credits on, and it's going to be for you, if that's okay.
yes.
I've just got 2 things to ask, really. One's well easy, and the other one might need a bit of thought, but it shouldn't be too much.
Hey,
The first one is there anywhere good to drink around here? And I mean adult drinks, I guess.
You there, underage child.
You know, like a bar, mimosas, you know, spirits, beer, you know the sort.
a liquid brunch.
Exactly.
She thinks about that for a second, and then she points down towards, a bit further round the circumference, and she says, there's the place my mum works.
Ah.
She works behind the bar of a sort of spaceman's club thing.
Can I ask her name, please? So just so that we know who to ask for to get a drink, because we trust that your mum would be able to provide us with good service. No other reason, of course.
Well, yes, obviously. Her name's Halloran.
How are we spelling that, my dear?
HALA.
Yep.
RENN.
RENN. Thank you. And Miss Wren.
Killy.
What's my name? Sorry.
Killy.
Killy.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lovely name, Killy. We've noticed that people are watching might be looking at us funny. Is there anything we're doing that stands out? Like, we don't want to upset people. We're literally here just, to get a bit of shopping, get a drink, get back to our hotel and head off again. Is there anything we're doing that might be making people feel uncomfortable?
She sort of thinks for a moment, and then she says, don't know. Do I still get the coin?
Of course you do. It's I found that 100 credits is like a good drink is worth its weight in gold. Please, please, like, enjoy it. I'll tell your mum that we gave it to you so that she doesn't think you've been thieving or anything. But yeah, thank you so much. You've been very helpful.
Great, thanks. She sort of looks down at the little token and then thinks she better tuck it in her pocket, which she does. And then there's a brief sort of thought that crosses her mind that you might want it back, so she sort of hurries off this time rather than sauntering.
Sarai turns back to Stefan and Agnar and says, "She don't know why people are being weird, but we've got a place to drink if we need it, and an inn."
Agnar will say, "Well, that's brunch. Brunch sounds good. And think of all the Robux you can buy with such credits or whatever the kids are doing nowadays. I'm centuries behind, at least.
At least things have changed since then. It's all virtual reality, I've heard.
Yes, indeed. I'm sure that's true.
Do you want to shop first and then drop in on the way for a drink on the way back? Because I've got her mum's name. She might be worth chatting, see if anything's happening.
Yeah, sure. That sounds good.
Cool.
Okay. So you're shopping first and then going to the club, is that right?
That seems right. Let's get shopping out of the way. Shopping's a bit of a thing, isn't it? It's a bit of a mathematical thing.
Yeah, we'll knock it all out in one.
Yeah.
In one sitting.
Fair enough. You head off to the towards the directions that you have towards where you can find Creaser Drac. A quick knock on the door leads to the door being pulled open, and inside, Creaser Drac turns out to be a much older person than the Tim you met in the shop, and much more heavily weathered and much less nervous looking. And he says, "Help you?"
Who's the best talker?
Stefan will approach, being very much not the best talker. Fourth wall, that's par for boys from the Baltic style.
But he's the ballsiest.
We've been sent by somebody who recommended you down from the Com Shack. They have some items for sale that we were after that weren't in their regular catalogue. And he'll shoot a wink.
Yeah.
Oh no.
He sort of glances left and right slightly surreptitiously and then nods for you to follow him inside.
Very gracious of you. I'm Stefan, by the way. Sort of shout after.
Drac. So what can I do for you? What are you after?
Well, my friend here was after. What were you after?
Well, as you're asking, if you've got any explosives, breaching charges, EMPs, that sort of thing, really.
Oh. Can you roll 2d6 for me, please?
Oh no!
Don't ooh me.
Oh,
Drax. I know that. Oh, there.
And you can
additional
add your
commands.
streetwise to that.
Oh, that might be useful. Because that's a 7, but +1 is 8.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. A quick look at this.
Stefan will say, "Listen, if we're in the wrong end of town, if this is small fish kind of territory, then we're happy to go somewhere else. Don't let us put you out at all."
Oh, it's Stefan Big Dog in him. Stefan.
Every now and then.
Pulling it out.
When we've got talking time to fill.
He sort of thinks about it for a moment and says, I can't do your breaching charge. They're preformed military kit. I haven't got that kind of kit to hand, I'm afraid.
That's okay. Have you got any EMPs? We used our last one in a laptop a while back.
Yeah, I can do you an EMP.
Could you do me a few?
Yeah, we've got some good ones actually.
Oh,
not cheap though.
Tell me more. It might be love at first sight.
He sort of walks over to a corner and pokes around in a couple of boxes for a while and pulls out essentially a grenade, an EMP grenade. Plonks it on a table in the middle of the room. He says, this thing scans in at TL 11. It'll do a bit more damage to a bit more high-tech stuff.
This is sounding rather exciting. What sort of money are you looking at for a TL11 EMP?
Well, I could let it go for 900.
Have you got three that you could? Have you got three or just the one?
I can do you 3.
900. That's 27. Could you have 25? 2,500.
Roller streetwise, please. Or you can have broker broker if you prefer, or persuade, any of those.
Okay.
But it's going to be quite a high threshold.
Yeah, I'm not going to hit that then. I'll hit a 7. So I'm guessing I'm on the full price.
he says, I'm sorry, it's the price.
27 is okay. I'll take that. It's a fair price for fair work, isn't it? Let's be honest.
If you're familiar with the economy of Traveller, and our viewers may not be, it's not exactly the cheapest you could get something, but it's not stupid.
It's not like the guy in the shipyard last week, quite frankly. All right.
Yeah, who was trying it on?
I don't know if he had the choice, but he definitely was trying it on. That is lovely. Have you got, out of interest, before I pass over to my friends for whatever they're after, you don't have any other interesting explosives, do you? Quirky stuff, interesting stuff that might not be of the norm?
In terms of explosives, the only thing I've really got here is TDX.
Okay. I'm not too upset with TDX. That's the stuff that just explodes sideways rather than upwards, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's quite
directional flat blast.
It's quite powerful though. What sort of price are you putting on your TDX?
Well, it's not too hard to get it here. We're a mining sort of planet. But even so, I've got my overheads. I can let it go for 1,200.
12, 3, 6. 3 for 3,000.
Roll a persuade check for me, please.
Especially as we bought stuff from you already, and there might be more to come from my manly friends. One of them was mumbling about
Agnar,
scanners and all sorts of
coughs when she says manly.
Oh, I've hit one though. I've hit a good roll though. It depends if it's high enough for your super powered one. It's a 10 plus 1. It's 11.
Plus your persuade.
That's 11 in total.
Is a total of 11. Okay.
Yeah.
3,300.
32, and I'll bite your hand off.
Deal.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. So I've got 5 of them. Thank you very much. Okay. My dear boys, one of you was after a scanner or something, weren't you? With some other bits and pieces?
Agnar will say, well, I'm pretty much just here for brunch. And Stefan will chip in, well, yeah, I'm after something that could potentially remove any bugging devices in a nearby vicinity.
He nods at the EMP grenades that you're currently in the process of packing away. Those will do it.
Is there anything more precise, less likely to take out? Yeah, say we're on a spaceship, less likely to take out the systems involved in, life support, keeping us alive.
You want something that might destroy a bug, but not something next to the bug.
Yeah, pretty much.
He nods.
You're generally in the vicinity of.
I've got just the thing.
Oh.
And he walks over to a box and pulls out something which he sort of hides a little bit as he brings it over, and then reveals it as he puts it on the table. It's a hammer.
You should get it.
I mean, 5 credits.
Is this what tech level? Is this a tech level 12 hammer, Stefan? You should.
That's exactly where I was going to go. Stefan picks it up and sort of.
What's the balance like, man?
I mean, I can't argue. It's a finely made hammer, and frankly, probably a steal at that price. I think I'll probably pass on the hammer, but thank you for the observation. Perhaps in our tactics, well, at least the way that we were likely to go about things.
Those EMP units, they'll fry anything of TL8 or lower completely. But they'll only temporarily knock out things that are a bit higher.
Okay, well that's good to know. I'm sure we'll figure it out. Trial and error and all that. We've got a few to play with.
So Rai's taken 3. The idea is that she was going to give 2 to Cara because that was on Cara's shopping list, but she'll throw 1 to Stefan and say, "Look, have a go. Go on, man. Come on. Your need is as good as Cara's."
No. Honestly, look, it's not a big deal. I was more worried about detecting bugs.
I know what you mean.
He'll sort of go aside with her a little bit, and he'll just say, "Look, I'm not very trusting of the whole ship refit. It seems a little, Who knows what could happen and what I could find in my room. I just,
Do you have a laptop?
I don't want to.
Stefan, do you have a laptop? Do you have a laptop at the minute, mate? It might be worth getting getting yourself a cheap laptop at some point and banging in some. I know it's not your biggest skill, but I'm sure Cara could help you if you want to set up in your room to set up a little check. Because I know what you mean.
She might be able to teach me some things, maybe.
Yeah.
But,
when we're back on the ship, the 2 of you could sort something out, maybe, and sort of. Because I know what you mean.
It's not pressing, it's just an afterthought.
I'm as untrusting as you, and we've not been on the ship for a couple of weeks now.
It's been a long time.
Who knows what's going on, right?
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
I mean, there were computers for sale at the Com Shack where you've already been. If you're interested.
Okay. He'll turn to our friend Drac, and he'll say, "How about any? You got any pocket nukes?"
Hey.
Casually.
Roll
with a bit of a grin.
Oh, it's legit. He could have. He's the man in the know.
That's a 9.
A 9 plus your streetwise.
No, that's an 11.
Oh, Stefan.
An 11.
It's not a shabby number.
good streetwise, Stefan.
He says, not here, but if you need them.
Oh, Stefan sort of is, I suppose, a little bit shocked by that. How long would it take you to get hold of one?
Well, a few days at least, maybe a bit longer. But they're serious money.
I realise it's a bit of a step up from what we've come in here with. How much are we talking?
I can probably get you one. It'll be about 5 meg.
Oh, God, it's not cheap.
I'm gonna be honest. I mean, I don't want to say anything incriminating, but that's certainly a hefty price tag. I thank you, but I think I will pass on that offer.
Okay.
It is appreciated, though.
Yeah.
But that's some very, very serious money.
That's a lot of cash.
Yeah. Well, if you change your mind,
you'll be the first in line.
We know where to go. Perhaps in the future.
Well, always possible. And he starts to sort of look curiously to see if there's anything else he can do for you.
Well, that's pretty much put me in my place.
I'm ammoed up.
Out loud to the group.
I'm explosived up as much as he's got. There's no breaching, but TDX will do a job. I've got what Cara needed. I'm good. We can look for rumours in the bar, but apart from that, I'm good at this part.
Okay. All right. Then, as you saunter back out of the little accommodation unit that this guy shares with his friend, I think we should call that our break.
Can I just quickly, as we're leaving, suddenly remember in my own head, and Stefan will say, "Oh, could you point us in the direction of the TAS?"
Yeah.
Please.
You're almost directly in line with it. If you head straight across from this angle back towards the blue domes, straight in from this angle, it's just almost you're on top of it. Upstairs.
Thank you very much. And that's all good. I'm done.
That's good. I feel so legit now that we're dealing with the TAS. Even we're like legitimate traveller players now.
It's real traveller.
They might let us. They might let us into their groups and things now.
Okay, right. Let's call that our break.
Let's do that. Let me find the little break picture. Hang on, where's it gone?
Don't forget the music.
Oh no, I get in trouble if I don't do the music. Hang on, let's get rid of that. Let's do that. Then I need to sort out the music, which is here. There. Hang on, the intro music. There it is. Let's get rid of that. But that should be okay. And then we'll turn our sound off. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in 5 minutes or so. So see you guys in a minute. Right. Welcome back. I'm a bit sneezy. Apologise. I just sneezed twice. I might do it one more time. But before I do, let's pass over to Ewan, who's going to do the most important part of our Boys from the Baltic Star stream, which, of course, is the toast to Grey Hill Bass. Ewan, I'm going to mute myself so I can sneeze.
Good choice. It is, as Luke says, the most important part of the evening. The toast to our belated dead comrade from the Baltic Star, our steward, Grey Hill Bass. A lot has been said about Grey Hill Bass over the past however long we've been streaming. This has been going on a very long time. We've spoken of his chiseled arms, his chiseled chin, his demeanour, his strong personality. What hasn't been mentioned is his creative side. I feel as though we've left out a whole corner of his personality. So I'd like to be prepared for the fourth wall to go completely out the window. I'd like to draw attention to the notes and his creative work that we found in his room after his early demise. We found a notebook which contains several of what I can only explain as potential movies, potential perhaps theatre plays. I mean, I suppose it's best if there's a few little notes written in here, but one in the inside cover, it says there's a little bit that describes what he's written down here, because they're not all full works of art, but they are in fact info dumps into text or voiceover in brackets ? At the beginning of each episode in brackets self-indulgent ? Although reaching this point, I suddenly realised that I haven't actually started toasting Grey Hill Bass, so the self-indulgent part might be my handwriting. There goes the fourth wall again. But I feel he's come up with some novels, some kind of works of art that we at the Baltic Star felt needed to be made in order to honour him properly. A budget was discussed, millions of pounds was spent, and we recreated the first of these. Luke, if you could roll post, please. Don't expect too much.
That is strong. That is strong.
I mean,
Don't know what to
frankly,
say.
I don't know where he got half the names from, because we hadn't met a lot of these people yet. But it regardless of that, it goes to show the creative, caring side of Grey Hill Bass. I'm also frankly shocked that that's all we got for the money we spent. I said a cold open. I mean, I don't know what that was, but the meetings will be had, discussions will be had as to where all the money went. But nevertheless, it is an honourable, I feel, nod to the creative and the beautiful mind, if you will, of the late great Graham Bast, to whom I would wish us all to raise a glass.
Grey Hill Bass.
Grey Hill Bass.
That was amazing. I hadn't seen that before. That was absolutely astounding.
This bar is getting raised far too high, you two. It needs to be brought down to earth very quickly.
I mean, there may or may not be sequels to come in the future. There's a lot of work in that book that I haven't quite gotten around to giving the once over yet.
That is amazing. Absolutely wonderful. Okay. So now I've got to follow that. Wonderful.
Wow.
You make your way down towards the club that you've been directed to, and you find it fairly quickly. There's a very on the nose sign. It's referred to as the Circle Club, and the sign is literally a metal cutout circle, like a Taurus hanging outside the door.
Nice. I like this place already.
And it's painted blue, of course, like many things are in this city. And the airlock beckons with signs outside indicating that it's a place you can just come on in and make yourself at home.
Will everybody know our name?
Well, it's possible.
Oh,
Can't rule it out.
Stefan will turn to Soraya and say, looks good vibes.
I'm enjoying the blue and the circle. It's my favourite shape, my favourite colour. I'm getting good vibes out of it. Should we go in? It's. She looks at her new watch, which she's making a very big sight, like those annoying people when they've got a watch that's worth like 20 grand and start jangling around on their wrist. She's like, oh, hang on. Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It looks like it's brunch time to me, Stefan. Is this
Yeah.
thing? Hello, is this thing? Oh, of course it's working. It's worth thousands of credits.
Well, once you've got a watch like that, you suddenly start doing Arnold Rimmer salutes everywhere.
Exactly. She's like purposefully around her armpit. She's pulled her sleeves up a bit tighter there, so naturally, by the time it gets to there, it's always rising up.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, I mean, if you say it's brunch time, then who am I to argue? I don't have a watch.
There's only one watch in our team. Come on.
Okay.
Watch, by the way, is a really good thing to pick up if you're, heading out into the middle of nowhere to try and liberate a household. Whatever we're going to do, it's, in the middle of nowhere. It's a good purchase.
Look as well, it's got a computer. Watch this. And she presses a button. She says,
"Oh, watch this."
She says, she says, computer, what percentage is Stefan likely to find love on this journey?
It's not a talking watch.
Oh, she just does it for show.
Uh-huh.
And she goes,
What does it say?
0%. It says 0%, Stefan.
Wow.
And it's a high-tech level watch. You got to trust it.
Frankly, that sounds accurate.
I'm sorry.
Optimistic, if anything.
It's maths. It's science, man. Sorry.
On that note, let's get some mimosas.
Let's get the mimosa goggles going.
Quite right. So, you make your way through the airlock?
Yeah, let's do that.
Inside, you find I mean, you've seen worse. Don't get me wrong. There are some pretty scruffy parts of the galaxy, but it's a pretty basic sort of bar,
We did drink on Austin a few times, to be honest.
Yeah. This is not awful by any means, but it's pretty basic as bars go.
Oh, it's the best sort of bar. Soraya's literally seen worse because she's been around the very edges of the. This is her
Absolutely.
This is her sort of bar. It's the old sawdust and spit and sawdust bar. She
And
loves it.
Agnar's spent a lifetime in the military. He'll have seen some really grubby places in his time.
Mm.
And to be fair,
And-
Stefan would have, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Agnar will still make a point though of turning to Soraya and saying, "Well, I've never found a more wretched hive of scum and villainy." Sort of look around the room.
It is definitely a hive of vum and skillany. There's just no question about it. This is the kind of place where your basic jobbing person hangs out. This isn't where you find liner captains and the smart upmarket people. This is your basic level people, not necessarily criminal or anything. There's nothing inherently wrong with these people, but they are basic.
I'm loving these basic people. I don't know if we're going to get a mimosa here though.
It doesn't look like a mimosa kind of place.
Oh, no.
What Stefan will turn and say, "What about an orange juice and fizzy wine?"
An alcoholic orange juice, you're saying? I don't know if they've seen orange juice for a while. Is it?
Yeah, I mean we are on a desert planet, aren't we? To be fair,
There's definitely some alcohol at least. Are there many people in there, Ben?
It's not really what you call a busy time of day, but there are a couple of people muttering to themselves in the corners and a rather bored-looking woman behind the bar.
Soraya smiles at her two fellow colleagues and says, "What do the two of you want?"
Agnar will say, "I'll take." Looks around again. Whatever whiskey they've got.
Okie dokie, good. Keep your standards low, Stefan.
Stefan, beer.
Oh, that sounds.
Sort of really questioning. Are we having beers? That's what's going to happen?
Sounds more reasonable. Why don't you two find us a place to sit, and I'll go grab a couple of drinks.
Do you want a hand, Stefan, or not?
Yeah, Stefan, you come. Agnar, you find us a table. Yeah. Make sure there's a wall to sit against, though, for our dear friend Stefan here.
Agnar will nod and wander off.
Cool. So Soraya will walk to the bar, and she'll say, "Afternoon. Is it afternoon or is it morning?" Ben,
it's essentially.
Is this thing working? Hello? It says 6, but I don't know what 6 it is.
It's mid-afternoon, essentially.
Okay. Oh, that's what the watch says. Okay, that's okay.
Yeah.
Oh no, I think I've been sold a fake.
You got it on the wrong wrist.
It's right twice a day.
No.
More so on other planets, but.
Yeah, I bet it's a Bolex. A very good brand. Okay. She'll sort of smile at the woman behind the bar. Good afternoon.
Hey, can I get you?
You can. Are you? I totally respect if you don't want to answer. We are going to buy drinks. We're just randoms. But are you Holloran?
Yeah, I know you from somewhere.
No. Your daughter might flash 100 credit chip at you this evening. She's not nicked it or anything. We're just travellers that were looking for a good bar, and she pointed us in your direction. So, and I'd already decided how much I was going to pay. So, don't, if it's helpful for the two of you to share or for her to keep, that's between you guys. But I don't want to cause grief.
Thank you.
That's okay. Can we get a couple of beers? You got any whiskies on?
Yeah, we got whiskey. And she sort of reaches down behind and pulls out a bottle which literally says whiskey.
Oh, this is right up his alley, actually.
Red wine.
Red wine.
Oh, it's not like the wine you used to bring in the plastic bottle, is it?
Throwback.
We'll have. I'll tell you what, it looks so good. We'll make that a double. Chuck. Have you got any ice?
Yeah, we can do ice.
Yeah, a double with ice and just a couple of your local bottled beers, please. It would be perfect.
Sure. She pulls out a couple of fairly substantial beer flasks and a couple of glasses, and sorts out some whiskey on the rocks.
Nice. Sarah sort of leans around as she sort of hands the card over to pay. This is pretty. Looks like I would, if I was trying to be smooth, I'd say it looks like a lovely place. But you and I both know it's what it is. This is pretty standard for this time of day.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Do you have investment in its success beyond working here, or does it make no difference to you how busy it is?
It's not my place, but I get a cut if we do well.
So I sort of slides the drink to Stefan, and sort of watches as the ice slowly dissolves in the whiskey, making it even waterier than it was before. It hasn't taken it over. However, gasping, Agnar looks over at the table.
He's panting.
He's right. Of course, you haven't seen us here before. We're here just visiting. We've just come in on the last cruise. I'm guessing. I don't know if you get many people here, because I'm guessing people stay to hotels, but you must know of the buckyball cruises and that come to and fro.
Yeah, I've never been on one, but I know what they are.
It's not our first time. We've been on Dilub Rou before. We a couple of months ago we were here hunting moamps. You ever hunted for moamps at all?
I've only seen them dead, I'm afraid. Never seen a living one.
No, they're big beasties, quick moving as well. I'm glad there's none here right now, to be honest. Terrifying things.
They stay away from the big habitations. I think if you live out remote, you bump into more of them. But you'd know more about that, right?
Yeah, we sort of we've seen them. We travel around a bit. Speaking of traveling around, actually, like when we were walking through, Stefan, you said that people were looking at us a bit, right?
I mean, I'm probably overly paranoid, but it felt as though, you know, that kind of feeling. People are looking at you. Do you ever get that? He'll say to the bar person.
Stefan, can you roll a streetwise for me, please?
Yes, that's a 9 plus 2 is an 11.
Okay. As you say that, you hear a little bit of a noise behind you, and a couple of people in the corner are sort of hurrying to the exit.
You know, like when you when you bring these awkward things up and people start hurrying away and he'll point behind him. I mean, nothing. We don't mind. We're just curious. We don't want to offend anybody. I think last time we were here, it was pretty in and out. A fleeting visit. We're just curious.
She thinks about it for a moment. Can all of you roll a persuade for me, please? With intellect or social, whichever you prefer.
Ooh,
We're going to take the
definitely
best of
intellect.
3, basically.
Nah, wow.
Oh, it's a good one. Yes, the first mega one of the night.
That's
11
good.
plus 2 is 13.
Mine's
Wonderful.
a 4 plus 1 is a 5.
Okay.
It's because Sarai's doing her woman of the people vibe. She's the woman of the people.
she is the woman of the people
She's Princess Di.
connecting with
Yeah.
Right.
the locals.
Have you got a second one to do, Ewan, for Agnar?
Do you want me to roll for Agnar? Agnar is trying to find a table, but he's happy
Okay,
to.
fair point. Yeah. So what did you get? A 13?
13, yeah.
All right. Okay. She says, I think they know you're going after Lara's band.
Oh. Is Lara and Band spelt as we'd expect Lara and Band to be spelt?
Yes.
How would they? No, go.
It'll just be an intro before you ask a question. Sarai will look at Stefan and say, are they an electro group? Are we going? We're going on after. We're going on after Electro's band.
I think I saw them support Joy Police.
Joy Police, Lara's band, and then we're headlining.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stefan will turn back to the woman at the bar and say, how do they know that when that I mean, frankly, we knew we kind of knew what we were doing here, but we didn't know that.
Then you should perhaps be a bit more careful who you hang out with.
A Lara's band, I don't know that. Are they loved, respected, or hated around these parts?
Yeah, that's them.
I mean, frankly, if they are loved, certainly in a bar such as this, I get the feeling that we wouldn't want to cause them any trouble. Generally speaking, in the lives of the everyday person, do they make it better or worse?
Good question.
From your perspective?
From my perspective, from the perspective of most people around here, they don't make things better or worse. We stay well away from them and they stay well away from us.
That's a fair option.
But, you know, if you're going out there to where they are, there could be trouble. And if there's trouble, well, sometimes that causes a bit of tension.
Yeah, sure. I think we've been there before. It can spill over, right? Soraya?
Oh, for sure. If there was a group of people that were to go after this Lara's band, would they be expected to come back again, or would their bones serve as a warning for this band?
She sort of confirms that the bar is empty, and she says, "Look, you seem like nice people."
As we try to be, man.
Lara, people are afraid of her, but she stays well out of the way. It's just, if you do go after her, don't leave her alive. You get what I mean?
That makes a lot of sense. Sarah sort of grimaces a bit. She a woman scorned and all that.
Sure. I mean, she is a woman. Scorned isn't quite the way I'd put it. Murderously enraged.
Stefan will just say, you better make that 3 double whiskeys.
3 double whiskers. Well, Agnar's drinking tonight. Does she have? Are there many in her band?
Well, I don't know. Enough that people leave her alone, I guess. You know, we've got law on this planet, and they leave her alone.
Wow.
How strict is the law on this planet? Generally speaking.
Yeah, not overly burdensome, but it pays attention when people end up dead.
Sure.
Is she from Dilub Rou, or has she come down from elsewhere?
I mean, I don't really know. Not someone I spend time with, but the word I hear, she's been here a long time. I don't know if she was born here.
Yeah. Everything you've been saying has been really hit, and we understand why. If we are the people, if people believe, however the words got out, that we are people that are going up against this woman and her band, I could see why there would be looks at us and nervousness and so on. And I feel bad that you guys have lost customers because of us being here. But we would love to sit here for half an hour and have a couple of drinks. But I don't want you to lose out on money. And so Cara loads another of her little chips and puts 300 credits on there.
Okay.
And she'll say if that would be okay with you for us to sit here and just sort of, you don't feel that you're missing out badly, and when we're gone, I doubt you'll see us again if you don't want to.
I'm not getting involved. You want to sit here, you sit here. But
well, the chip can go where you want the chip to go. Let's put it that way.
But I just I just want to make sure nobody walks into something they don't understand, you know?
I'm assuming anyone walking into this is walking into a very dangerous situation.
And frankly, we're experts at walking into things that we don't understand. And probably never will.
And running out of them having understood them.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it would be nice if Lara's band weren't about. It'd be nice if Lara wasn't about, but don't make them angry, right?
So like you're saying, if you make them angry, don't leave her alive.
We're not going to... I think it's safe to say we're not going to start anything that we're not going to finish.
Okay.
Be that what it may.
And I mean, there's more of you, right?
Oh, we've got this one guy. He's with a gimpy leg and a squint, and this kid. He's got like a one arm, and he's got a like a water pistol. Yeah.
Oh, it's going to go brilliantly.
What how many of us should there be, I guess, is the question to ask here.
It's not really my area of expertise. I'm just thinking more than 3 would be good.
Sure, like More than 300? More than 3? More than...
Oh, I don't know how big her band is, but it's a band.
ballpark
I
figure.
mean, 3 seems light.
We're if they are indeed hanging out at Morse's Pit,
Cool.
our friend who owns the villa there in Morse's Pit. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's very resplendent. His name is Dilub Rou. I don't know if you've seen him on posters.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, we got a lot of military around here.
so that's his place, and he's paid a lot of money for that place, and that's his retirement villa. And so such a resplendent and honoured man as him would not go there on his own.
I mean, I wish you luck.
Look, with a watch like this, you don't need luck.
With these feet?
with these feet.
Yes, quite right.
Sarah finally looks down at the whiskey and like most of the ice cube is gone. And leaving Stefan at the bar, she takes the whiskey and takes it over to poor old Agnar's table.
And you sort of assemble at the table to raise a glass and drink some whiskey, which is well, Agnar's had better. Had quite a lot better, but it's not like it makes you go blind or anything. It's fine. It's perfectly adequate.
Is there anything at this bar where people leave a photo or a sign or a carving or something?
Not a carving or anything. There is a
I shouldn't mention carving in Stefan's.
We don't talk
impressions.
about
We don't talk about carvings.
Certainly not around Stefan and Agnar at the same time.
Oh no, that weird flashbacks.
There is what amounts to a scratch board on the wall where people have like chalked up messages to each other and things like that. Because people, come and go based on their flight schedules, and they leave little just written notes up there for each other.
So I wanders up and writes to Grey Hill! ! And then underneath a fine brunch, and then dates it whatever the current date on Dilub Rou would be.
Okay.
And then sort of sits back down again, finishes off a beer. I'll drink to that, I suppose.
Yes. It's a Grey Hill indeed.
To Grey Hill. This is where we met him. It's what he'd have wanted.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, we can find his family.
You met Grey Hill best.
To Grey Hill's family. Mummy Grey Hill. I want to find Mama Grey Hill now. Can we leave this mission behind and find Mama Grey Hill?
Well, if you remember, I don't think
he was sent.
Even our regular viewers will know this, but Grey Hill wasn't from Dilub Rou.
No, it's true.
He had followed. He was here because of us.
That's right.
Can we just quit the deep night mission and find Mama Bast? No, we've bought into it now. They're paying. They've done our ship, haven't they? Too bad.
Right. Well, you guys wind away a bit of an evening, drinking some whiskey, celebrating the memory of Grey Hill, of course. Agnar making little tasting notes about the whiskey as he goes. It's like, there's an aroma of whiskey with a aftertaste of whiskey, and it's whiskey. That's all you can say about it. It's as bland as it is humanly possible or vulgarly possible to have. But it's whiskey. It definitely meets what it says on the tin.
And those tasting notes are available for people that subscribe at tier 2, which get whiskey tasting notes.
Agnar's personal whiskey tasting notes of intergalactic whiskies.
From the Circle Club.
But that feels like a good time to stop episode 2.
Whiling away the time.
Yeah, as people settle into a brunch. So thank you everyone for joining us, and we will call episode 2 there.
A very casual episode, I felt.
It felt really relaxed, this one, didn't it?
That's because we know that death is coming.
Well, but somewhat it felt as though it was, climbing to something.
We learned a little bit about Lara's band.
Yeah, we were building up to Lara and her band.
Let's go find Lara next week. I'm looking forward to finding Lara next week. I'm well hyped for it. Let's do some violence. Yes.
What's the plan tonight? Are we going anywhere?
Oh, I better look for a thing, hadn't I? Let me look for a raid.
I mean, we don't have to.
Well, I think it's good. It's nice to raid other people. Whatever we do, however well or badly we do ourselves, we should always look to help other people, I feel.
Yeah, well, I think that makes sense.
Apart from Lara.
Yeah, that's a special case. True.
Shakes fist.
I mean, they're no fess, but...
Lara!
Lara.
No, I've got something here that we follow. Okay, we'll do that.
And then the rest of the weekend we have I forget what it's called again. It's definitely not Spooky Sunday tomorrow.
Well, I feel it is Spooky Sunday. I feel it is definitely Spooky Sunday.
It is indeed. It is indeed. There's no Terror Sunday.
And yes, so Spooky Sunday tomorrow night, 11:45 UK time, Luke.
Sure, why not? And let me just think if there's anything that's going to stop that from happening. No, there's nothing. There'll be. Oh man, how's this Spooky Sunday? So I'm going to be sat over there in my room, in my living room, in front of the telly. I'm falling into a jump scare game, Ben, and I'm very upset about it because we all know that I hate jump scares.
Yeah.
They're my cheapest horror hate, and the game has become jump scares. It's like heads and noises, and it's going to get worse.
What's the game, Luke? Because not only is it Spooky Sunday alliteration, but we realised today that it's also what's the name of the game?
Man of Medan. It's MM.
Man of Medan.
The whole weekend's been alliterative.
It's a weekend of alliteration.
It is.
Friday Fighting Fantasy, which is the Citadel of Chaos, so that's CC.
Yeah.
We've had Sci-Fi Saturday, which is Traveller TTRPG, so that's 2 T's.
Obviously.
Spooky Sunday, Man of Medan.
Yeah.
Amazing.
We didn't even plan it.
It's just how it came.
With most things.
Sometimes the orbits.
Just how it's happened.
The orbits of the planets sometimes just work like that. It's because Uranus is rising, Ewan.
When the stars align, and the stars and Uranus align.
Yeah, I think Mercury's in retrograde. I've heard.
That's a free clip for you.
Speaking of Sparrow, we've got a Rose's cat. Oh no, do I need to get my hat? Hang on, we can't have a Rose's cat without the hat. Hang on a sec.
Rose's cat.
You've got to have a hat. Okay.
Cat hat.
Cat hat.
We'll just wait for Luke.
Well, yes. He's got to find his hat.
Traditions are important. If you don't have traditions, what do you have? There we go.
Indeed.
That headphone's really warm. I left it on.
So Rose's cat. Meanwhile, on the Baltic Star, Axis and Sarama worked together. Okay, technically, Axis, Sarama, and Caboodle worked together. For some reason, the precious eggs in the cargo hold had been placed on a warming surface, an incubator, that was far too small for them. No doubt this was a sensible arrangement in the short term when the eggs were first taken on board, since the incubator had been converted from a standard pallet with a light placed inside. But regular pallets were just 1.5 meters across, and the eggs had been placed rather precariously, hanging over the sides. There was no way, in fact, to arrange the eggs so that all three were safely fitted to such an incubator. So Axis and Sarama were constructing something bigger and more sensible. No doubt this was something that was always intended, but overlooked in the busy ship. Caboodle was helping, as each of the 6 pallets was converted into an incubator by fitting its heating lamp and turning on to test that it worked. The cat diligently jumped on top and took a nap to ensure that the heat was ideal for, frankly, a kitten, but presumably also acceptable for an egg. Each of the pallets had its upper surface changed into a shallow V shape, so that an egg placed on top wouldn't roll off. And 2 pallets lined up formed a subtle trench 3 meters long, easily long enough to nestle an egg comfortably. 3 eggs, 3 pairs of pallets. Ideal. But there was more. And this was where the cat would prove extremely valuable as a tester. Axis carefully covered the entire surface of the pallets with a transparent film, the type used for sealing off areas of the ship to control dust or other particulate contamination on the ship. She ran the film back through the entire line of pallets and connected it to itself, forming a conveyor belt. This belt, once the motor was attached, moved constantly but very slowly. Anything resting on one of the pallets in its trench would be sitting on a moving surface that would slowly descend one side of its individual V and then climb the other side. But gravity, being gravity, would try to keep the egg in the bottom of the V. This would mean naturally that the egg would very slowly roll in place rather than move from its spot. Not just an egg, a caboodle. The movement was so slow that the kitten didn't balk at returning to the contraption as soon as Axis was finished with the belt. In fact, it would have taken a measure of determination to discourage her. The 2 engineers watched as the kitten picked the middle of the 3 positions and threw herself down on one side, paws drawn up, eyes closed, still irrepressibly purring. They watched for a while. Almost imperceptibly, the belt was moving, and as the belt moved, the cat was being rolled in place. It was some time before the smallest of the crew was actually lying perfectly on her back, her paws on top, still snoozing, unaware. The 2 engineers nodded to each other and let out a little cheer of celebration. Sadly, this roused the kitten, and she looked at them, upside down, a little confused, before wriggling in extraordinary contortions to put her paws back under her body. She chose another of the 3 trenches and settled down again.
Oh, they've roused the kitten. That's risky. Risky work. So I'm a bit worried about I'm a bit worried what we're going to go back to on the Baltic Star. We're going to have little baby Moabs floating around. So I'm a bit worried.
Well, not all that little.
No.
Given they've had to construct something that's whatever that is, 4.5 by 3 meters for the 3 eggs.
Are we gonna have to Star Trek 3 and or whatever, Star Trek 4 and bring the whales home? The Moabs.
I think it's more likely to be that we're going to go back to a ship full of
rampaging beasties.
No. One of the exactly the opposite of the rampaging beasties in Star Wars. The tiny little fluffy things that come out of everywhere.
The stupid things.
Yeah.
What are they called? Those things? Yeah, they're everywhere. And then DS. No, it's not porgs.
No.
Tribbles.
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 We're going to go back to a ship full of tribbles.
Moab tribbles.
It's my worry.
Tribbles. Well, there are only 3. They don't breed that quickly.
Well, tribbles are born with their babies inside of them already, apparently. They're born pregnant. That's part of the problem.
Yes. Yeah.
Dear.
I mean, there are other problems with tribbles. Troubles.
Troubles with tribbles, exactly.
Yes, I mean, there are many troubles with that episode.
I'm sure Ewan would join me in recommending DS9 in general, but I thought that the episode that rolled back to the original series with the Tribbles in was staggeringly good.
A very good flashback. Yeah,
It is my very favourite Star Trek episode ever.
Is it really? It is. It's so respectful of its original material.
It's funny and it's clever and it's full of silliness and, as you say, a degree of respect, while at the same time some gentle mocking at the expense of the old series.
Well,
yes, yeah.
Worf's bit where they ask him about why the Klingons look so weird, and it's like we don't talk about that. So good.
And the throwback to the outfits as well, the way the women dressed in the original series compared to DS9, and it's lovely. It's a lovely little gentle bit of mockery of the original series, but as you say, it is respectful of it as well.
I tell you what, Ewan, because I've been watching. Because I started.
And is Deep Space Nine still trending, Luke?
It should be. I'm going to make it trend every night. It should be.
Definitely.
Like, I got Ewan onto it much after I did, but Ewan gets through things a lot quicker. And I'm halfway through Series 6 at the minute, on my current watch through. But it's banger after banger, right? By the time we get to Series 6, right? Because the last two episodes were Morn for Morn, which is a classic episode with Morn about Morn.
It's all about Morn. It's all about Morn.
Followed by the one set in like the old times with the sci-fi writers, which is another classic episode. It's like Series 6 is just classic episode after classic episode. And to be fair, it's all brilliant, DS9. Even the one that I thought I'd hate, which is the one where Sisko's caught in the time loop and Jake gets older and is trying to like get in touch with his dad, who's in that, which I thought would suck. I was really emotional.
Yeah,
it's from my mind, it's the best Star Trek. I'll accept if people say other things, but for me, DS9 is the best of the Star Trek.
I don't know exactly how you qualify best, but it's my favourite.
Yeah, I think for me, my main thinking of it is based. I think it's mostly based around O'Brien and Bashir, and it's the difference between 10 forward and, because for me it's either Next Gen or DS9 for me, and Next Gen, it's a bit hoity-toity though, so they like listening to recitals and doing Mutiny on the Bounty in the holodeck, except Riker, because we all know what Riker uses holodeck for, but that's up to him, and fair play to him, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, get away with it on daytime TV.
That's what you should be using it for if you're billions of light years in space. But they always tried to. It was always like the best of the best on TNG, because it was like the flagship, right? Whereas DS9, it was about people finished their ship, they went to the bar. O'Brien, the working man who refused to become an officer, set up a dartboard so they could play darts while drinking. The holosuites were openly used for sex and violence and comedy and nonsense. And it was just a den, like you said earlier. It's the den, isn't it? It's a hive of scum and villainy, and little shops around there, and that's what I loved about it. I think it felt
and it's that
real.
corner of the Star Trek universe that's a bit more like the Star Wars universe, in the sense that it's a bit lived in, a bit grubby, a bit broken in places,
outbacky.
Different people, different races are coming in all the time, and they're just having to live together.
Because in the original series, even when they visit some desert planet, which is basically a bunch of coal miners, everybody's still immaculate and everything's shiny and bright. It's not just the starship, it's everywhere they visit is like that. It's like, this is weird, right?
Yeah. So you're supposed to have been here for 80 years, okay?
I'm in acquisitions.
I'm in acquisitions.
Oh, Tobias.
Oh, good old Tobias.
Right. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah.
And I think we've set up for some leap forward next week.
I
So
think
let's see how that goes.
I think the next couple of weeks are going to be quite mission focused. It feels. it was a sepsis. Right, I'm reading someone called
Bold claim, Luke. Bold
that's
claim.
I'm doing no character
I
building.
don't. I mean, look at your hat.
Just shooting. You took yours off before you said that.
that in and of itself is a bold claim.
Right. I'm just shooting. Next 2 weeks, I'm just gonna come out shooting. That's it. No talking. Shooting. I started shooting. RF Chaos. That's who we're going to raid. I'm a fan of their stuff. They're doing something called the Delinquents Ether and Steamworks. There's 6 of them. They all look very cheerful.
Excellent.
I'm enjoying their font work. You'll see it. I'm a fan of fonts, and I'm a fan of their fonts. So let's go there. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah,
at least I typed the right thing this time. Join us if we do. Otherwise, thank you so much, and come tomorrow to watch me terrified of jump scares.
Thank you very much, everyone. Good night.
Good night.
Thanks.